Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Eshleman. I'm a Postdoctoral Research Fellow at the Center for Advanced Communications Policy at Georgia Institute of Technology. This is video 4 in my AI Equity Facilitators series, and today we're asking a deceptively simple question. What does it actually take to make AI-powered assistive technology equitable? Not just available, but genuinely usable by the people who need it most. The answer is what I've been calling equity facilitators, and the scoping review of 17 policy and research sources identified 3 core domains, so let's walk through each one. Our review mapped the current literature on AI-powered assistive technology, or what I'm calling AIAT, across benefits, risks, barriers, and enabling conditions that make equitable access possible. One of our central findings was a severe asymmetry. The field is far better at diagnosing problems than operationalizing solutions. Facilitators are pretty frequently named in the literature, but it's rarely specified with enough detail to act on them. And today I'm going to focus on those 3 facilitator domains: the resourcing economic enablement, capacity and social support, and participation in shared decision-making. The foundation of equitable access is infrastructure and economic support. This was the most cited facilitator in our entire review. 65% of the sources, 11 out of 17, flagged it as essential. Broadband access, compatible hardware, reliable electricity, and ongoing technical support aren't optional add-ons. They are prerequisites. Without them, even the most sophisticated assistive technology simply doesn't function. Beyond infrastructure, 35% of the literature calls for robust financial support models like subsidies, grants, vouchers, and insurance reimbursement, with some researchers proposing government subsidies covering 60 to 80% of device costs to make adoption realistic for low-income disabled people. But getting the device into the hands of users is only the first step. The second pillar addresses whether people can actually use it confidently and consistently. Training, literacy, and awareness were discussed in over half of the literature, 53% of our sources. This includes not just technical instruction, but peer networks and public awareness campaigns that address the social stigma that drives technology abandonment. Another 41% of sources emphasized interoperability standards, so ensuring that AIAT systems integrate with users' existing devices and digital ecosystems, rather than having closed out brand-specific systems. And 12% of papers specifically call for customization and localization because tools built around standard speech patterns and dominant cultural contexts, Western, will systematically fail users with atypical communication needs or in Eastern and other cultures. And then the third pillar in the equity facilitators, I think, is the one that makes the other 2 really meaningful. Resourcing and capacity matter. But neither is really sufficient if disabled people aren't substantively involved in designing and deploying and governing the technologies that they rely on. So the literature calls for participatory action research, co-design methodologies, and community-led governance, not as a courtesy, but as a functional necessity. When you build access alongside users, you get tools that actually address user needs rather than presumed user needs. This pillar also, I think, carries an important critique. The literature warns a lot against a reverse Turing test, where disabled people are forced to modify their behavior to be more recognizable by the technology, rather than the technology adjusting to be a better fit for the person. So participatory design is precisely how we prevent that. So, to recap, equitable AIAT requires intentional investment in infrastructure and financial support, human capacity and interoperable systems, and genuine participation by disabled communities in every stage of development. These aren't abstract ideals, they are a concrete roadmap, and one that current policy frameworks have yet to fully operationalize. In the next video, we're going to look at the barrier side of the equation, the structural, technical, and systemic forces that actively prevent equitable access. That is coming up next. Thanks for watching.